Okay, real talk here. How many of you have had an event, hired somebody, or taken a lot of footage, speakers, people, interviews, and then after the event, you had all this footage and nothing happened with it, just sitting on a hard drive somewhere?
We see this happen a lot because people will spend a lot of money on the event. They'll capture a lot of content at the event, and then it sits somewhere.
Right. Somebody's desk. We don't know where the drive is, on a shelf somewhere.
It's a missed opportunity because that content is a gold mine.
We are going to break down event coverage, meaning video, what you should actually be recording, how to plan for it, and what to do with all that footage afterward.
You should have a strategy about this, whether it is a small team that you've got together to do this or whether you've hired professionals.
The goal isn't just to prove the event happened. That's not why you recorded. It's to create assets, video assets that work for your business goals after everyone goes home and the event is over. That's the goal.
That is the goal.
Change the Reel with Monique Velasquez.
And Piper Kessler.
For more than 20 years, we've worked in video production behind the scenes, helping mission-driven organizations and leaders turn complex ideas into content that actually moves people.
We've seen how media can either reinforce tired narratives or challenge them.
This podcast exists for leaders who know their stories matter and are ready to stop guessing and start using video strategically to further their mission, not just fill a content calendar.
Each month, we drop 2 types of episodes.
One with Piper and I kicking it, sharing production insights from our own work,
and another featuring real stories with leaders who use media to create change
and as a tool for connection. This is Change the Reel. Representation starts here.
So we're going to start with why event video is worth the effort and investment.
Because people think, or they assume, it's just about social proof, showing that you had a big, fancy, elaborate event. But that's not it.
And it's a lot bigger than that.
According to Bizaboo Event Marketing Report, 95% of marketers say in-person events provide attendees with a valuable opportunity to form connections.
So here's the thing. Only the people in the room got to form those connections.
Unless you capture it strategically and extend that value beyond the event itself, right?
So event video serves a lot of purposes. First, it's a recruitment tool for future events.
Right. It also allows people to see the event and what it actually looks like, what the atmosphere, the vibe is like before they commit to attending said event. I can't tell you how many times I've done that.
So, second, it's content for folks that were not at the event who are considering future events or maybe considering working with you.
Wise Owl State of Video Marketing Survey found that 96% of people have watched an explainer video to learn more about a product or service. And now we've had this stat before, but it bears repeating because we want to stress that people do watch video to get an explanation before they buy something.
And recap videos, they explain about your event and why someone should care about the event or care about what it is that you're doing.
It's a year-round engagement content. So that's what you can use the video for.
And there's a lot of different things that you can pull from that event. You can pull speaker sessions, panel discussions, testimonials, behind-the-scenes moments, and this will help engage the community between your events.
And the next big reason is it's a fundraising and sponsorship tool. This should ring some bells here, a fundraising and sponsorship tool. So spending that money to capture the footage, it's sitting on the shelf. You better grab it because this is a way for you to fundraise and to get sponsors either for your next event, this event, future events, or future programs.
Because potential sponsors can watch and see how the event was done. They get the energy of the event. So those are potential sponsors. And then sponsors who were already there, they get to see, maybe they weren't able to show up. They get to see what happened and they can get excited and stay engaged and sponsor you again.
It shows donors how they impacted what their money went to impact, right? So according to Classy's report on nonprofit video, organizations that use video in their fundraising see 66 more donations.
Because video is going to be different than photographs or something that is written in the Word.
So if you're hosting an event and not capturing strategic video, you're leaving serious value on the table.
All right, so now we're going to move on to tactical, what you should actually be recording at your event.
So this depends on your goals, right? What are some of the standard strategies that work for most events? This is what we're going to cover.
The obvious thing is the main stage content.
So first is main stage content. Okay. That includes your keynote speaker, panel discussion, or some sort of informative presentation for your audience. Anything happening from the main stage.
And this is probably going to last the longest and kind of be evergreen because it's going to be seen as inspirational or it's usually educational.
You can repurpose keynote talks into standalone videos. You can use it for quote graphics. You can use it for blog posts. You can repurpose for social clips. There are so many ways to use that footage later.
And so if you're doing this yourself, there are some things that you need to consider. You're going to need a stable camera positioned to capture both the speaker and any slides or visuals that they might be using. And you also need, and I'm going to say this, clean audio.
That's true.
Ideally, you want a direct feed from the sound system.
And let me just say, don't rely on your camera's built-in microphone for this. Because we talked about this in another episode about proximity to the microphone. I'm over here, you're not hearing me, as well as you're hearing me here. So get a feed from the microphones that are in front of the people on the main stage. So you need a direct audio connection, or perhaps you use your mobile phone as a recorder for just audio and put it close to the speakers. So that is a way to get a separate audio recording and not rely on your camera in the back of the room's microphone.
And the next category we're going to talk about is attendee testimonials and reactions.
This is gold for the future, especially if you're going to do another event, repeat this event, right? So really dial in.
Yeah, so you want to set up a station. You want to make it convenient for folks to come and be interviewed, to give their testimonials. So you would set up a simple interview station that has a decent backdrop, good lighting, lapel mic, or it can be, you could have a shotgun mic. Unless you're super close, don't plan on using the camera mic. Right. You want to capture 2 to 3 minute conversations with attendees.
And the kinds of things that you want to ask them is what brought them to the event, what's their biggest takeaway, and what would you tell somebody who would be considering attending in the future?
Right, because these are going to be used, these videos are going to convince other people to register for the next event.
Yep. According to WiseOwl, 79% of people say they've been convinced to buy software or an app by watching a video. We have these stats for a reason because we want you to understand that video captures attention and helps consumers turn into buyers.
Right, because it's the same for event registration. It's you see real people talk about their experience. And that becomes more persuasive than a pamphlet or anything that you're going to put out. Someone who actually was there and experienced it, talking about it.
Right. So marketing copy, a brochure. Let me explain. Picture is worth 1,000 words. And this is where we call B-roll, which just means extra footage that is not a dedicated topic. B-roll and atmosphere shots or lively vibe.
Because video is not like photos, like we said earlier. It's going to make the event feel live.
Right. And so you want to capture people having a good time, laughing, thinking, interacting during breaks, maybe sharing information or sharing their deets, their 411.
Because you want the energy of your event and the vibe of your event to come through.
And they're editing gold. That all of that is important. You use these to bridge between interview clips and main clips. So that's what B-roll is really used for.
If you're shooting this yourself, keep in mind variety. So wide shots of the room, medium shots of small groups interacting, close-ups of details like name tags, materials, branded elements.
Exactly. And so our fourth topic here is sponsor and partner acknowledgement.
So if you have sponsors, make sure you capture their presence. You might want to capture their booth, their signage, their team interacting with attendees of the event.
This shows any future sponsors what it looks like as a sponsor at your event.
It gives you proof of value, and it shows potential and present sponsors that they're getting something out of this.
That's right. And number 5, we have behind the scenes and setup videos.
All right, so this is optional, but it's really valuable for showing the work that goes behind the event.
People appreciate seeing the setup. Did you have a problem? How did you solve that problem? The effort that goes into creating the event and what special care you took to have your participants have a good experience.
It humanizes your organization. It shows that you're not just doing some polished content. You're showing that there's real work behind the event.
Yeah, and this is important when you have a mission-driven organization and you're showing behind-the-scenes content that builds trust. Specifically, if you're talking about adding sign interpreters or having, hearing assist systems and how you're going to incorporate it. So having stuff like that as your background in your B-roll really helps attendees understand that you are part of the community, you are mission-driven.
All right, so we've now talked about what types of content to capture. Let's talk about how to actually plan for this.
Okay, because the worst thing you can do is show up on event day and then go, all right, we need somebody to record this. And I can't tell you how many times it felt like that's what was happening for us.
The first thing you want to do is figure out what you're going to be capturing before the event ever happens.
Right. So first decide what you're capturing before the event. That's important. Look at your event agenda and identify priority moments. Is this somebody that you flew special from Germany or Switzerland or Iceland to be at your event? That would be a priority moment.
Right. So what are the speakers who absolutely need to be recorded? And how much time do you need to spend with that speaker? And how detailed do you need to be on that speaker? These are the sessions that potentially are going to have the most replay.
That's right.
So if you think about this, you had as Monique pointed out, a special speaker. People are going to be searching for that person, and your event is now going to come up because you captured that person.
That's right. And then we talked about the testimonials. You need to figure out where that's going to happen. What's going to really say this is a good backdrop for that?
So every day you need to have a roadmap or a shot list of what's happening that day and what must be captured.
Right. And so that includes like how you get the B-roll, people laughing, people interacting without being disruptive. It should include the list of B-roll or your shots should include recording what's happening, what equipment you need, the types of shots that you're really looking for, and who is responsible for capturing it.
Right.
That is super important.
Because if you're working with even just one other person, you need to be very clear of who has responsibility for what.
Second, test your equipment before you get on site.
Do not wait until the day of the event to discover your camera battery doesn't hold a charge, or maybe you don't have enough batteries, or your microphone has too short of a cable.
That's right. Test everything. Charge everything. Bring backups of critical items like batteries, SD cards, and cables, even electrical cables, like a drop cord.
This is also critical. We've been in situations where we could not go to the location before. If you can scout the location, that is going to help you so much to plan out everything.
Right, because sometimes you'll get to a venue and they've got a weird post in the middle where you were thinking, oh, I could set this up and get the main stage. But you get there and you didn't arrive in time to find a second location to capture the main stage. So you want to go early and you want to look at where the best position is before the event starts. And want to make sure that you capture the main speaker without an obstruction, like your tripod's not tall enough and there's a tall person standing in front of you, which I've had happen to me.
So you're planning out, once you see the location, where are you going to put cameras? Where are you going to have these interview sessions at? Because you also have to take into account, where is your sound? How loud is this going to be if you want to capture these interviews? Do you want that background? You may actually want that background sound.
Right, the applause, the laughter.
You might. But you also want to clearly hear what they're saying.
So these logistics matter. You can't fix bad positioning in post-production. It's a time machine. You don't have a time machine. So 4, coordinate with your AV team or the venue technology team how to get the sound to you. You know, what resources they have that you don't have to duplicate.
Right, because if they can get sound to you, if they have a mixer, you want to know that in advance so you know what cables and connectors you may need. And if they don't have it, you need to know that because you've got to figure out how you're going to capture sound.
Most professional venues have a way to give what we call a line, a cable, a feed from the mixer, the audio mixer. This gives you clean audio from the microphones on stage.
And this is always going to be better than capturing with your camera mic.
That's true. That's true. If they can't provide a feed, plan accordingly. Bring your own audio recorder. Like I said, your mobile phone has a recorder on it and could be used in a pinch. And position it as close to the speaker as possible if you bring a recording device or your mobile phone.
The next step is clearly assign duties.
If you're doing this DIY with a small team, everyone needs to know what they're responsible for. Are you going to bring the camera? Are you going to bring the cards? Are you going to bring the tripod? Am I going to have the backup laptop to, put the footage onto? Name it before you get there.
Yeah. So who's going to be filming the main stage? Who's going to be recording B-roll? And who is going to be doing the testimonial interviews?
Don't assume people will just figure it out. You need to have a plan. You need to execute and name people and give them actual assignments.
Next step, buffer in time.
That means don't schedule back-to-back interviews, meaning that, we have a 15-minute break. I should be able to do 5 2-minute interviews. No, you can't, because you got to go find the people. So imagine that it takes 2 minutes to give that interview, but it really takes 2 minutes to find the person, convince them to be in front, and then they have to be all shy, fix their hair, make sure the makeup's good, and now you've got 5 minutes into that 2 minutes, and you're not going to get as many interviews without that buffered time. So
and you've got to also move equipment.
that's true.
You got to make adjustments to settings. Maybe a person is a loud talker. Maybe the other person is a quiet talker. Maybe, I don't know, there's 1,000 things.
Oh yeah, something shiny on in their jewelry that is just
Right.
causing
You're
you a
always
problem.
expect the unexpected.
That's right. Listen, according to Event MB's research, 43% of event planners say managing event technology is one of their biggest challenges. 43%.
So again, build in cushion time for technical troubleshooting. You're going to have it.
You will need it.
All right, so let's talk about what a solid DIY event video setup looks like.
Because you don't need a massive production crew to capture good content, but you do need to be strategic. You need to be thoughtful.
All right, so for main stage recording, minimum viable setup.
You need a camera, a way to stabilize that camera like a tripod, and that's going to sit high enough to be unobstructed, and so that you can see and capture the speakers or any presentations that might happen on the screen.
And you got to hear them. Oh. So a way to record clean audio, either a feed from the venue's sound system, or you have a high quality external recorder.
And so let me just say that you want to make sure that they have extra, media cards and electricity. And for safety's sake, you should always have a way to keep those cords and draped cables down. And so I'm just going to add, tape and gaffer's tape or cloth tape of some sort, so that you're not creating a
safety hazard.
A trip hazard.
Also, you want to make sure somebody is monitoring the recording to make sure that it's actually working. This happens all the time.
I see these unattended cameras in the back of the room, and sometimes the imp in me wants to go up and go, in front of the lens. I don't, but I'm really tempted to do that because nobody would know until they reviewed the footage.
So basically, don't hit record and just walk away.
Right. Have someone checking the picture at least periodically, and that they're still talking in the center of the stage where you left the picture. Because I've seen that where they just walk right out of your shot and they're stalking on the side of the stage, and then they come back, and so that happens a lot. That we have roaming speakers, and so you might actually need somebody there to move the camera to follow the action.
All right, for testimonial interviews,
you'll need a simple backdrop or a good background in the venue. Sometimes people will use their step and repeat banners. They'll have a selfie station, and that could be useful to do that. You're going to need something that is not distracting, that's even and aesthetically pleasing. So those are the kinds of backgrounds, something simple.
And we're going to suggest a camera at eye level.
Yes, you should always have your camera at eye level. You want to put a microphone.
And on a tripod.
Yes, a tripod would be really good. And have a microphone like a lavalier or lapel mic, or a handheld mic like a reporter, so that you can get the microphone close to the person you're interviewing.
And make sure you have good lighting, that you're not totally backlit. If you're indoors, you can do a basic LED panel.
A ring light.
Stand
by a window.
Stand by a window.
Having good natural light is also very helpful. But avoid direct sunlight, out by the pool, because it can create harsh shadows that are unflattering.
All right. For B-roll, you want mobility.
You want to be mobile. You want to have handheld footage, either in a camera, like your mobile phone or whatever. And maybe you want to add something special like a gimbal or a stabilizer to the footage if you're doing B-roll.
And you want to make sure you do variety. Do wide shots, medium shots, close-ups. And then you capture enough to use as a B-roll. Because we've sent people out before and they thought they were capturing it, and what they feel like is enough time, when they go into the edit suite, it's not enough time.
You can never, ever have enough B-roll. Never. You always need more. Even if you have a lot, you can always use more.
And it's easier, time machine, it's easier to have too much footage and select the best clips than to realize in editing that you don't have enough footage.
And something else that you should know about, if you're doing it yourself, you should know what your limits are.
If your event has multiple things happening simultaneously in different rooms, you might not be able to capture everything.
So you want to prioritize, if you're doing it by yourself, what matters the most, and accept that you can't be everywhere all at once.
And this is where you might want to consider hiring video professionals. And they can come in and they can film concurrent events.
Have multiple cameras, different operators, and who can, just be in different rooms at the same time. But if you're doing it yourself, focus on the quality of coverage that you're doing, giving the priority moments the attention rather than trying to capture everything and watering down and not having good coverage in the end, especially if you're doing it yourself.
All right, so now you've captured all this footage. What are you going to do with it?
Well, there's a lot of people, this is where a lot of people get stuck.
They have hours of content.
Oh man, so many
but
hours.
No clear plan for it to be turned into usable assets.
So let's break down a post-event content strategy.
Okay, so first, create a highlight reel within 48 hours.
That should be your goal, right? This should be a 60, 90-second video that captures the good stuff, the highlights, the faces, the vibe, the real atmosphere that was happening. Use your best B-roll and quick testimonial sound bites, maybe 10 or 15 seconds from a keynote speech or one of the panelists.
So you want to add music, keep it fast-paced, get it out while the event is still fresh in people's minds. And it's going to go on social media, it's going to go on in your newsletter, on your website. It's going to be everywhere. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Look, according to HubSpot, a social media post with video gets 48% more views than no video.
So get that highlight reel out so that you can capitalize on post-event momentum quickly.
Second, let's edit full session recordings for on-demand viewing so that you can get those up and have those available to people that paid money and couldn't attend actually in person.
Right. You can edit them down into standalone little videos for the keynote speakers, or maybe there was a panel.
Right. And you can clean up the beginning. Maybe they were like straggling in and they had to do some, what they call housekeeping rules. You can cut that out and maybe throw a opening graphic title with who the panelists are and how, what the session was about.
This is going to become a library of assets. So you can use them for lead generation, offer them to attendees as a thank you.
Nice.
Or use them as previews for next year's event.
And the third thing you could do is pull short clips for ongoing social content. So like those quick sound bites from panelists, or quick sound bites from a keynote, or quick testimonial bits. Those are all things that you can sprinkle months, weeks after the event.
Because they can be a 30-second or 60-second little video.
A power quote from a speaker or a testimonial about impact and behind the scenes moments that show your team's personality are really valuable for social media content later in the year.
So there is a stat, according to Anamoto. 93% of businesses say they've gained a new customer because of a video on social media.
Yeah, these short clips keep your event and your mission visible long after the event is over. So think about that. It lives on.
Do your speakers a favor and do yourself a favor. Create speaker spotlights.
Oh, that's so cool to be able to do that for your speaker, especially if they're kind of new at it. And if they're old hat at it, it's also nice because it adds to their speaker reel. If you have a notable speaker, create a 2 to 3 minute video featuring their talk with quick context about who they are and why the message matters at this event and to your audience.
And these are great for LinkedIn. They will help you promote the next year's event, and they'll build relationships with speakers who might share the content with their own audience.
And so this is, if you're counting, the fifth idea, and that is to use testimonials strategically.
Yeah, don't post all of them at the same time.
What? You don't want to just do a big dump? No. Spread them out over the year as part of your ongoing marketing for next year's event.
This is way better than a written testimonial. It's the way to show on your event registration page video testimonials, have that ready, and that's going to convert people into wanting to be at next year's event.
Right. And we're going to move on to number 6, which is create a study or impact video.
Okay, so this is a 3 to 5 minute video that shows the full arc of your event, why it matters, who attended, what happened, and what impact it created.
This is the kind of video that you want to show to your sponsors, to donors, to your partners in the event, to demonstrate the value and the reach that your event had. So that's why this impact video is important.
You can use this to pitch to media and
Local
get media coverage or speaking opportunities related to your event's themes.
Those are important things to be able to do with the videos.
So let's talk about when it makes sense to hire professional event videographers versus trying to do it yourself.
Right. And so there's nothing wrong with doing it internally and doing it DIY. That's a fine activity.
Yeah, let's say you're hosting a small workshop with like 20 people. You mainly want to capture testimonials and you want to do some photos. This is totally reasonable to do it yourself.
But there are some scenarios where professionals are going to just be better at coverage, and it's worth the investment.
If this event is a revenue driver for your organization, you might want to hire video professionals.
Is this your flagship event? Is this a conference that is so well attended and very popular with your audience and brings in a significant amount of income? If it is, then professional coverage ensures that you get the footage that actually will help push clients and convert registrations. So that's important.
Second, if your sponsors expect professional documentation, hire professional videographers. Sponsors pay for visibility. They gave you this money for a reason.
DIY might not be cutting it for them. They might be expecting something a little bit more high value, upscale, polished. Third, if you're hosting concurrent sessions, might be a good time to hire somebody. You can be in multiple places at once if you have multiple cameras and multiple operators. So if your event has breakout sessions happening, you might want to consider investing in having professionals come in.
Fourth, if the production quality needs to match your brand positioning.
Now, we talked about how poor quality video reflects on your brand.
We did.
If you're positioning yourself as a premium or professional organization, your video content better look in that category.
If it's inconsistent or low quality, the footage can undermine your brand credibility.
And fifth, if your team is already stretched thin by managing the event itself, it is time to outsource that.
Ain't no joke. Event day is always hectic. If you are responsible for registration, logistics, attendee needs, managing the speakers.
If you're asking your already overwhelmed team to manage video and not having assigned their duties, something's going to crash, it's going to fall through, it's going to suffer.
Professional videographers show up, execute the plan, they cover everything that you told them to cover, they deliver the edited content. You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, and there's a cost consideration, right?
Yep.
Event MB found that an average event has a budget of about $500 to $1,500 per attendee when you factor in the venue, catering, speakers, marketing.
So if you're spending $20,000 on a 40-person event, investing another $3,000 to $5,000 in professional video coverage to maximize the return on that investment makes sense.
Right, because you're not just documenting the event, you're actually using the money to create assets that are going to extend the value of that event past that event date and to fill your next year's event seats by selling tickets, by spending this $3,000 to $5,000.
Right.
So you're sort of seeding money for your next event.
Next year and this year's success is important to your business. Using these strategies can help make a bigger impact on the event.
That's true. I want to make sure that you know Velasquez Media is here to support you in your mission and your goals. We want to see you find success with this event, future events. This is why we started this podcast, Change the Reel.
Event video isn't just about proving your event happened. It's about creating content that works for your long-term business.
Right. So plan ahead, know what you're capturing and why you're capturing it. How are you going to use it in the future? Test your equipment, assign clear roles to your staff.
And if you're doing this yourself, focus on quality coverage of priority moments rather than trying to capture everything.
Right. And so after the event, have a clear content plan. Don't let hours of footage sit on the shelf. You want it to be used because you have that value just sitting there, potential dollars just sitting there. You want to use it.
If the event is a major part of your business model or your branding position, professional coverage is always worth considering.
Right, because the right footage and strategy can fill next year's event, support your fundraising, engage your community year-round, and strengthen your organizational brand.
If you're planning an event and want to talk through video strategy, whether you're doing it yourself or you're thinking about professional coverage, reach out to us.
I know that being from an underrepresented community can mean working harder to get attention. Here are some tips in this episode that can help you get that attention. We can help you think through what makes sense for your business and your event goals.
All right, that's it for this episode.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this episode of Change the Reel.
If you liked it, hit subscribe, share the episode, or drop a comment. We actually read them.
Connect with us or any of our guests on LinkedIn. Check the show notes for links.
And if you're done with DIY and ready to record something that matters in a safe, inclusive space, check out our studio at velasquezmedia.com.
Remember, representation starts here. Hasta pronto.
See you soon.